The room was too quiet. Not the calm kind of quiet. It was a kind that pressed on the chest and made breathing feel loud. The whole of witnesses had seen wars, treaties, and executions. It had heard screams, oaths, and lies. But now, it was silent. Every alien noble sat frozen in place, their eyes fixed on the tall doors at the far end of the chamber. The doors were opening. Slowly, guards tightened their grip on their weapons. Blue light from their armor filled the hall. Some aliens leaned forward. Others leaned back, as if distance alone could protect them. A human walked in. He was alone. No armor, no weapon, no escort. Just a man in a dark coat, boots worn from travel, shoulders straight, steps calm. He did not rush. He did not bow. He did not look afraid. That alone made the room uneasy. Humans were not supposed to be here. Humans were not even supposed to exist in this part of the galaxy. Whispers spread like fire. A human? How did he pass the outer gates? This must be a trick. At the center of the hall sat the alien queen. Her throne rose above the others, carved from black crystal and silver bone. She had ruled for centuries. She had seen stars die. Very few things surprised her anymore. But when her eyes met the human's face, her fingers tightened on the arm of her throne. She did not speak. The human stopped 10 steps from the inner circle. He stood still, hands visible, head raised. His face showed no anger, no pride, only focus. The High Counselor stood sharply. His voice echoed through the chamber. "Human," he said coldly, "state your name and purpose. You stand where you do not belong." The human opened his mouth to answer. Before a single word came out, a sharp gasp cut through the hall. Everyone turned. A young alien girl stood beside the queen's throne. She was small compared to the others, her skin pale silver, her eyes wide and glowing. She had been silent the entire session, hidden behind the queen's long robes. Now she was shaking. Her eyes were locked on the human. Her lips parted. Her breath came fast. Then she screamed, "Mother!" The word echoed like a crack in glass. The queen turned instantly. "What is it?" she demanded, rising halfway from her throne. The girl lifted a trembling hand and pointed at the human. Her voice broke. "It's him," she whispered. Then louder, with fear and certainty mixed together. "It's him." The hall exploded into noise. Guards moved forward at once. Weapons powered up. Energy blade hummed. The High Counselor shouted orders. "Seize the human. Protect the child. This is an attack." The human did not move. He did not run. He did not reach for a weapon. He only looked at the girl. Something changed in his eyes. Not shock, not anger, recognition. The queen raised her arm high. "Stop." Her voice cut through the chaos like steel. Every guard froze mid-step. Silence returned, heavier than before. The queen stepped down from her throne slowly. Her gaze never left the human. "Child," she said carefully, kneeling in front of the girl. "Why do you say this?" The girl's breathing was fast. Tears gathered in her eyes. "I know him," she said. "I shouldn't, but I do." The High Counselor turned sharply. "Impossible. Humans have never been here during her lifetime." The girl shook her head hard. "I saw him," she said. "Before, when everything was burning." A murmur passed through the elders. The queen's face hardened. "What burning?" The girl swallowed. "The sky was red," she whispered. "The ground was shaking. Everyone was screaming. And then he was there." Her finger stayed pointed at the human. "He carried me," she said. "He told me not to look back. He told me to breathe slow. He told me I would live." The queen's eyes widened slightly. That memory was sealed, locked away by royal order, erased from public record. The human took a slow step forward. Guards reacted instantly, raising weapons again. But the queen did not stop him this time. "Do not come closer," she said quietly. He stopped. "I am not here to harm," the human said at last. His voice was calm, rough, but steady. "I did not expect to be recognized." Every ear in the hall listened now. The High Counselor sneered. "You admit involvement." "I admit memory," the human replied. "And responsibility." The girl broke free from the queen's side and ran forward 2 steps before guards blocked her. "Don't hurt him," she cried. "Please." The queen stood slowly, her expression unreadable. She looked at the human again, more closely now. The scars on his hands, the tired lines near his eyes, the posture of someone who had stood against impossible odds and survived. "Human," she said, her voice low, "dangerous. Why are you here?" The human met her gaze. "Because your child remembered," he said, "and because the galaxy chose to forget." A sharp breath moved through the chamber. The queen felt something she had not felt in a very long time. Fear, not of the man, but of what he represented. She raised her hand again. "Guards," she said slowly, "lower your weapons." They hesitated. "Now." Weapons powered down. The human stood alone in the center of the hall, unarmed, surrounded, and yet, somehow, he felt like the most dangerous presence in the room. The queen spoke the words that would change everything. "Bring him closer." The doors of the hall sealed shut behind him, and far above the palace, the stars seemed to grow quiet, as if the universe itself was waiting to remember what it had tried so hard to forget. The doors of the Hall of Witnesses were sealed. A deep metallic sound echoed as hidden locks closed. No one could enter. No one could leave. The human stood in the center of the hall, surrounded by guards and counselors. Blue and red eyes watched him from every side. Some faces showed anger, others fear. A few showed something worse, curiosity. The alien girl struggled against the guards holding her back. "Please," she cried, "don't send him away. Don't hurt him." Her voice was small, but it cut deep. The queen raised her hand gently. "Release her." The guard hesitated. "Release her," the queen repeated. They stepped back at once. The girl ran straight to the human. She stopped just 1 step away from him, as if afraid the memory might break if she came closer. Her hand shook. Her eyes searched his face. "You're real," she whispered. "You're really real." The human slowly knelt down to her level. He did not touch her. He kept his hands open, empty. "I am," he said softly. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "You said I would be brave," she said. "You said the dark would end." The room fell silent. The High Counselor's voice broke the moment. "Enough stories. This is manipulation. Children remember dreams, not truth." The girl turned sharply toward him, anger flashing in her young eyes. "It wasn't a dream," she shouted. "Dreams don't hurt like that." She hugged herself tightly. The queen stepped forward. "Tell me," she said carefully. "Tell me what you remember." The girl nodded slowly. "The sky was on fire," she said. "Our city was shaking. I was trapped under metal. I couldn't move." She pointed at her chest. "I couldn't breathe." Several elders shifted uncomfortably. "And then?" the queen asked. "And then he came," the girl said, pointing again at the human. "He broke the metal. He carried me. He ran while things exploded behind us." She closed her eyes. "I was scared. I thought I would die." The human lowered his head slightly. "What did he say to you?" the queen asked. The girl smiled faintly through her tears. "He told me a story," she said, "about humans, about how they don't give up, about how they keep walking even when everything hurts." The queen's breath caught. That story was old, very old, too old for a child to invent. The High Counselor slammed his staff against the floor. "This is impossible," he shouted. "That battle was sealed. No human survived that sector." The human looked up. "Wrong," he said calmly. "Some of us did." The council erupted again. "You dare accuse us of lying? This human is poisoning her mind. He must be executed." The girl stepped in front of the human. "No," she screamed. "You weren't there. You didn't see him." The queen raised her voice, louder than all of them. "Silence." The whole obeyed. She turned slowly to the human. "What is your name?" she asked. "Ethan," he replied. "Ethan Cole." Several elders reacted to the name. The queen noticed. "You know this name," she said. The High Counselor's face darkened. "That name is listed among the dead." Ethan nodded once. "I know." The queen walked closer to him, her long shadow falling across the floor. "Why come here now?" she asked. "After all this time?" Ethan looked at the girl. "Because you remembered," he said, "and because memory means responsibility." The queen's eyes narrowed. "Explain." "When humans were sent to help your worlds," Ethan said, "we were told we were allies. We believed that." He paused. "When the enemy arrived, we held the line." A heavy silence followed. "We waited for evacuation," he continued. "It never came." The girl's hands clenched into fists. "They left you," she whispered. "Yes," Ethan said simply. The queen felt a weight press against her chest. The High Counselor spoke again, quieter now. "Those decisions were strategic." Ethan looked at him. "You erased us," he said. "From records, from history, from memory." The queen's voice trembled slightly. "Why didn't you seek revenge?" Ethan shook his head. "Because that's not who we are," he said. "Humans survive. We remember. And sometimes we forgive." The girl looked up at him with wide eyes. "You came back for me," she said. Ethan smiled faintly. "I promise." The queen turned away, struggling to control her expression. She had ordered that retreat. She had approved the silence. She turned back. "Child," she said softly, "why didn't you speak of this before?" The girl lowered her head. "They told me it wasn't real," she said. "They said humans were weak, that they ran." She looked up again, fierce now. "But he didn't run." The queen closed her eyes. A lie she had lived with for centuries cracked open. She opened them again and faced the council. "This session is no longer a trial," she said. "It is an awakening." She looked at Ethan. "You will remain under royal protection," she said, "until the truth is known." Gasps filled the hall. The High Counselor stepped back. "Your Majesty." "I said enough." The queen turned to the girl and placed a hand on her shoulder. "Do you trust him?" she asked. The girl nodded without hesitation. "Yes." The queen straightened and faced the hall. "Then so do I." High above the palace, ancient systems awakened. Records long buried began to stir. And in the silent stars beyond, a forgotten truth was beginning to return. The room felt smaller now, not because the walls had moved, but because the truth had begun to breathe. The queen stood still, her eyes fixed on the human named Ethan. Around her, the counselors whispered in low voices. Some looked angry, others looked afraid, a few looked ashamed. The alien girl stayed close to Ethan's side, as if stepping away might erase him again. The queen raised her hand, and the lights of the hall of witnesses dimmed. A soft glow formed in the air above the floor. A hologram appeared. Stars, planets, battle lines. "This," the queen said slowly, "is Akaro's front." Several counselors looked away. "This war," she continued, "was removed from public history." Ethan's eyes followed the glowing stars. "We were sent there," he said quietly. 6 human battalions. Light ships, old weapons. The High Counselor crossed his arms. "You were support forces." Ethan looked at him. "We were the shield," he said. The hologram changed. Enemy fleets flooded the space between the stars. Massive, endless. "The enemy broke through faster than expected," the queen said. "Our defenses failed." She paused. "Our fleets retreated." The alien girl's hands tightened. "You left?" she whispered. The queen did not deny it. "Yes," she said. "We pulled back to protect the core worlds." "And us?" Ethan asked. The queen met his eyes. "You were ordered to hold." Silence followed. The hologram zoomed in. A small cluster of blue dots stood against a sea of red. "Humans. They told us evacuation was coming," Ethan said. "We believed them." The counselors shifted again. "For 3 days," Ethan continued, "we fought without rest, without sleep, without hope." The hologram showed human ships breaking apart, ground forces standing their line while cities burned behind them. "We were not winning," Ethan said, "but we were not running." The alien girl looked at the images with wide eyes. "I remember the noise," she whispered. The sky screaming. Ethan nodded slowly. We knew we would not survive, he said, so we did what humans do. The Queen turned slightly. Explain. We protected civilians, Ethan said. We moved children, elders, anyone we could reach. The hologram showed humans forming lines, bodies between enemy fire and fleeing alien groups. Every step hurt, Ethan said, but we kept moving. The High Counselor spoke, his voice tense. This is exaggerated. Ethan looked at him. Then why erase it? He asked. The Counselor said nothing. The Queen gestured, and the hologram changed again. A final transmission appeared. Broken. Fading. Human command, Ethan said. Last message sent. The audio played. Static. Breathing. Then a voice. This is Captain Cole, the voice said. We are still standing. Civilians are moving. If anyone hears this, remember us. The sound cut off. The hall was completely silent. That transmission, the Queen said quietly, was classified and destroyed. Ethan nodded. We assume so. The alien girl turned to the Queen, tears in her eyes. You knew, she said. You all knew. The Queen closed her eyes. We chose survival, she said, and silence. Ethan's voice was calm, but heavy. Silence is also a choice. The Queen opened her eyes again. How many survived? She asked. Ethan paused. Out of 6 battalions, he said, less than 30 humans. Gasps filled the hall. And most of them, he added, died after, from wounds, from radiation, from being forgotten. The alien girl looked up at him. But you lived, she said. Yes, Ethan replied, because someone had to remember. The High Counselor took a step forward. Why reveal this now? What do you want? Ethan shook his head. I don't want power, he said. I don't want revenge. He looked around the hall. I want the lie to end. The Queen felt something break inside her. For centuries, the galaxy had called humans weak, loud, short-lived, but weakness did not stand alone against extinction. She looked at the hologram one last time. Deactivate, she said. The image vanished. The Queen faced the Council. You erase this war, she said. You erase the humans who bled for us. She turned to Ethan. And you walk back into our halls unarmed. Ethan met her gaze. Because humans don't need weapons, he said, to tell the truth. The alien girl stepped forward and took his hand. This time, he did not pull away. The Queen straightened. The galaxy will hear this, she said. All of it. The High Counselor whispered, It will change everything. Yes, the Queen replied. It must. She looked at Ethan one last time. And this is not the end, she said. Ethan nodded. I know, he said. Far beyond the palace, ancient archives awakened. Signals long buried began to move across the stars. The war the galaxy hid was waking up, and humanity was no longer silent. The whole of witnesses felt cold, not from the stone or metal, but from what had just been revealed. The war, the silence, the lie. The Queen stood alone at the center of the hall now. The counselors sat frozen, their power suddenly fragile. For the first time in centuries, no one spoke. Ethan stood quietly beside the alien girl. He did not look proud. He did not look angry. He looked tired. The Queen took a slow breath. There is more, she said. Several counselors turned sharply toward her. Your Majesty, one elder said nervously, the matter is already resolved. No, the Queen replied. It is only beginning. She lifted her hand. The lights dimmed again, darker than before. A new hologram appeared, but this one was different. Smaller, personal, a private chamber, a single throne, a younger version of the Queen. The alien girl stayed in shock. That's you, she whispered. The Queen nodded. This recording, she said, was never meant to be seen. The image showed the Queen centuries earlier, standing before a group of advisors. Fear was clear in her eyes. The enemy is advancing faster than predicted, a voice said in the recording. If we do not retreat now, the core worlds will fall. And the humans? A younger queen asked. Silence followed. They are acceptable losses, another advisor said. Ethan's jaw tightened slightly. The recording continued. If we save them, the advisor said, we risk everything. The younger queen looked down at her hands. How long can they hold? She asked. Long enough, the advisor replied. The queen in the present closed her eyes. That was the moment, she said quietly, when I chose my people and erased yours. The hologram ended. The alien girl felt her chest tighten. You knew, she said, all this time. Yes, the queen answered. I knew. The High Counselor stepped forward, his voice sharp. Your Majesty, these were decisions of war. Necessary decisions. The queen turned toward him slowly. Necessary, she repeated. Or convenient. He said nothing. Ethan finally spoke. You ordered the silence, he said calmly. Yes, the queen replied. You ordered the records destroyed. Yes. You let the galaxy believe humans ran. The queen looked directly at him. Yes. The word echoed like a wound. The alien girl shook her head, tears falling. They lied to me, she whispered. They said humans were weak. Ethan knelt beside her again. We were scared, he said gently. But we stayed. The queen felt her control slipping. For centuries, she said, her voice breaking slightly, I ruled believing I had protected my people. She clenched her fists. But every night, I saw that battlefield. The counselor stared at her in shock. I heard the screams, she continued, and I did nothing. The High Counselor spoke again, desperate now. Your Majesty, revealing this will destroy alliances. Worlds will turn against us. The queen straightened. Let them, she said. She turned to Ethan. You came here unarmed, she said. You stood before those who betrayed you. Yes, Ethan replied. Why? She asked. Why not expose us from afar? Why walk into danger? Ethan thought for a moment. Because humans believe in facing those who wronged us, he said. Eye to eye. The alien girl squeezed his hand. The queen looked at them both. What do you want from me? She asked. Ethan shook his head. Nothing, he said. The queen blinked. I didn't come for punishment, Ethan continued. I came for truth. The queen felt something she had avoided for centuries. Responsibility. She stepped forward. Then hear this, she said loudly, turning to the council. I, alone, authorize the abandonment of human forces at the Caro's front. Gasps filled the hall. I ordered the silence, she continued, and I allowed the lie to spread. The High Counselor whispered, You cannot. I can, the queen snapped. She turned back to Ethan and the girl. And I am ashamed. The word stunned the room. A queen did not admit shame. But she did. The alien girl stepped forward, her voice small. Can lies be fixed? She asked. The queen looked at her. Yes, she said. But it will hurt. Ethan nodded. Truth usually does, he said. The queen lifted her hand once more. Activate the ancient archives, she commanded. Alarms sounded softly. Systems long unused awakened. Lights flared across the hall. Send the full record, the queen said, to every world, every council, every history vault. The High Counselor shouted, This will tear the galaxy apart. The queen turned to him. Then it deserves to be torn, she replied. Ethan looked up sharply. You're sure? He asked. The queen met his gaze. I owe your dead more than silence, she said. The alien girl smiled through her tears. You're doing the right thing, she said. The queen placed a hand over her heart. For the first time in a long time, she said, I hope so. Far across the stars, sealed files unlocked. Messages long buried surged into the networks of the galaxy. The truth was no longer sleeping, and humanity's name, once erased, was about to be spoken again. The whole was no longer quiet. It was waiting. Lights from the ancient systems glowed along the walls. Old symbols appeared in the air, symbols no one had seen used in centuries. The truth was moving now, spreading beyond the palace, beyond the world. Ethan stood still. He did not smile. He did not look proud. He reached slowly into his coat. Every guard reacted at once. Weapons rose. Energy fields snapped to life. "Stop," the Queen commanded. The guards froze again. Ethan's hand came out slowly. In his palm rested a small object. Old, worn, scratched by time. The alien girl leaned forward, eyes wide. "What is that?" she whispered. The Queen's breath caught. She knew that shape. That symbol, one elder said softly. "It can't be." Ethan held the object higher. "This," he said, "is what I came to return." The object began to glow faintly as the whole systems reacted to it. Light spread from it like ripples in water. The symbol was ancient, older than the Queen's reign, older than most living memory. The Queen stepped closer, her voice barely steady. "That is a covenant mark," she said. "The first alliance symbol." "Yes," Ethan replied, "between humans and your people." The whole erupted. That alliance was broken. Humans were never equals. "This is fabrication." The alien girl looked from the Queen to Ethan. "You said humans were allies," she said. "They told me that was a lie." Ethan shook his head gently. "It wasn't," he said. The Queen raised her hand again, silencing the room. "How did you get it?" she asked. Ethan lowered the symbol slightly. "It was given to my unit," he said, "on the first day we arrived." The room grew still. "They said it meant trust," he continued. "They said if we carried it, your people would always stand with us." The Queen felt a sharp pain in her chest. "And when the retreat came?" she asked. Ethan met her eyes. "They told us to keep holding," he said. "So we did." The alien girl clenched her fists. "They used you," she whispered. "Yes," Ethan replied, "but we believed in the promise." The High Counselor stepped forward, his voice tense. "That mark proves nothing. It could be stolen." Ethan nodded once. "That's why I brought more." He reached into his coat again. This time, the Queen did not stop him. Ethan placed several small data cores onto the floor. They rolled slightly before settling. "Battle logs," he said. "Medical records. Civilian evacuation lists." The ancient systems reacted instantly. Light exploded across the hall. Images appeared. Humans carrying alien children. Humans standing in burning streets. Humans forming lines while civilians escaped behind them. The alien girl covered her mouth. "That's me," she whispered. The Queen stayed in shock. One image froze. A younger version of the girl, crying, covered in ash, held in Ethan's arms. The Queen felt her knees weaken. "That image," she said, her voice shaking, "was never recorded in our archives." Ethan looked at it quietly. "I kept it," he said, "so I wouldn't forget why we stayed." The counselors began to kneel, one by one. The High Counselor remained standing. "This changes nothing," he said weakly. "The galaxy will never accept." A deep tone filled the hall. The ancient system spoke. Covenant verified. Every light turned gold. Alliance breach confirmed. Silence crushed the room. The High Counselor's face drained of color. The Queen straightened slowly. "The system recognizes a human claim," she said. She turned to Ethan. "This mark, this proof, activates old laws." Ethan nodded. "I know." The alien girl looked up at him. "What laws?" she asked. "The ones that say," Ethan replied gently, "that allies abandoned in war owed truth, honor, and restoration." The Queen swallowed hard. "And power?" she asked carefully. Ethan shook his head. "No," he said, "just memory." The Queen stepped forward and did something no one expected. She bowed, not deeply, but truly, to humanity, she said, and to those we left behind. The alien girl ran forward and hugged Ethan tightly. This time, he hugged her back. "They remember you now," she said through tears. Ethan closed his eyes briefly. "Good," he said. "That's enough." Alarms sounded again, not warnings, but announcements. Across the galaxy, councils received the files. Histories rewrote themselves. Lies cracked under the weight of truth. Humans were no longer shadows. The Queen looked around the hall. "From this moment," she declared. Humanity's name is restored. The High Counselor sank to his knees. Ethan picked up the Covenant mark one last time. I didn't bring this to take power, he said. I brought it to return a promise. The Queen met his gaze. And the galaxy will remember who kept it, she said. Far beyond the palace, the stars burned brighter, as if they, too, were finally allowed to remember. The signal traveled faster than light. Across star systems, across ancient borders, across worlds that had never spoken humanity's name with respect. Screens lit up. Archives unlocked. Truth spilled out. The galaxy watched. In the hall of witnesses, silence returned. But this time, it was different. It was heavy with understanding. The Queen stood tall at the center of the hall. Her crown reflected the golden light of the ancient system still glowing above. Counselors remained frozen in place, their power broken by history itself. Ethan stood quietly. The alien girl stayed close to him, holding his hand like an anchor. The High Counselor finally spoke, his voice hollow. The ancient law is clear, he said. A betrayed ally must be restored. The Queen nodded once. Begin, she said. One by one, the counselors rose from their seats. Then they knelt. The sound echoed through the hall, a sound no human had ever heard in alien space. Kneeling, the alien girl gasped. They are bowing, she whispered. Ethan did not react. He did not smile. He simply watched. The Queen stepped forward and lowered herself as well. Not fully, but enough. To the humans who held the line, she said clearly. To the humans who were abandoned. Her voice carried across the hall, and far beyond it. Ethan finally spoke. You don't need to kneel, he said. The Queen looked up at him. We do, she replied. Not for you, for the truth. She rose and turned to the ancient system. Restore humanity's standing, she commanded. Golden light flared brighter. Restoration in progress. Data flowed like rivers. Across the galaxy, human history was rewritten, corrected. Old broadcasts replayed. Images of human soldiers standing their ground appeared on screens in distant worlds. Civilians watched in silence. Shock spread. Then all. The alien girl squeezed Ethan's hand. They are seeing it, she said. Everyone. Ethan nodded slightly. That's why I came, he replied. The Queen turned back to him. By ancient law, she said, humanity is owed compensation, territory, influence. Ethan shook his head. We don't want land taken from others, he said. The Queen studied him. Then what do you want? She asked. Ethan thought for a long moment. Recognition, he said, and protection for the weak. The Queen nodded slowly. Granted, she said. She turned to the council. From this day forward, she declared, no human vessel may be denied aid in allied space. A ripple moved through the hall. And no human sacrifice, she continued, will ever be erased again. The counselors spoke together, their voices joined. We swear it. The alien girl smiled. You changed everything, she said to Ethan. He looked down at her. No, he said gently. We just reminded them. Suddenly, a new signal appeared above the hall. A live transmission. Worlds tuning in. Millions of faces watched. The Queen stepped into the light. Citizens of the galaxy, she said, we speak today to correct a lie. Her voice did not shake. We abandoned an ally. We erased their courage. We called them weak. She paused. They were not. Images of humans holding the line filled the broadcast. They stood, the Queen said, so others could live. The alien girl stepped forward without fear. He saved me, she said into the transmission, when no one else came. The galaxy listened. Ethan felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. Pride. The Queen turned to him one last time. By right of covenant, she said, you may claim a seat among the council. Gasps filled the hall. Ethan looked around. At the kneeling counselors. At the watching stars. At the child holding his hand. He shook his head. No, he said. The Queen frowned. Why refuse power? Ethan answered simply. Because humans don't need thrones, he said. We need purpose. The Queen smiled, truly smiled, for the first time in centuries. "Then what will you do?" she asked. Ethan looked at the stars above. "I'll go home," he said, "and tell them we were remembered." The Queen bowed her head again. "When you leave," she said, "the galaxy will not forget." The counselor stood. The alien girl hugged Ethan tightly. "Will I see you again?" she asked. He smiled softly. "Maybe," he said. "The stars are smaller than they seem." As Ethan turned to leave, the hole parted for him. No guards, no weapons, only respect. Behind him, the Queen spoke the words that sealed the moment. "Humanity stands honored." And across the galaxy, for the first time in a long time, the word human was spoken with awe. The hole was emptying. Counselors left in silence. Guards lowered their heads as they passed. No one spoke loudly anymore. The galaxy had changed, and everyone could feel it. Ethan walked slowly toward the exit of the palace. Not as a prisoner, not as a hero, just as a human. The alien girl stayed beside him, her small hand still holding his. She looked up at him again and again, as if afraid he might fade if she blinked. "You're really leaving," she said softly. "Yes," Ethan replied. "I was never meant to stay." The doors ahead opened on their own. Beyond them waited a long corridor of light, leading to the landing platforms and the open stars. The Queen stood behind them now, watching. She did not stop him. She knew better. "Human," she called out. Ethan toned. "For centuries," the Queen said, "my people believed strength was measured by power." She stepped forward. "Today, we learned it can also be measured by who stays when escape is easy." Ethan nodded once. "That lesson cost us," he said, "but it saved others." The Queen placed a hand over her heart. "The galaxy will remember your dead," she said, "and it will remember why they stood." The alien girl tightened her grip. "Will they remember you?" she asked. Ethan smiled gently. "They don't need to," he said. "They just need to remember the truth." A soft chime echoed through the palace. A new message arrived from human space. Ethan paused. The Queen gestured, and the message played in the air. A human voice filled the hall. "Older, warn, we received the records," the voice said. "All of them." The image flickered. Human leaders, civilians, soldiers, standing together in silence. "We were forgotten," the voice continued, "but we were not lost." The speaker looked straight ahead. "We don't ask for apology," he said. "We ask that the galaxy remember what it costs when promises are broken." Ethan closed his eyes briefly. The alien girl looked at him in awe. "That's your people," she said. "Yes," Ethan replied. "That's home." The Queen turned toward the stars beyond the palace walls. "Send a response," she ordered. She looked at Ethan. "What should it say?" she asked. Ethan thought for a moment. Then he said, "Tell them we remember too." The message was sent. Far across the galaxy, millions watched the exchange. No cheering, no anger, just understanding. The Queen stepped aside. "You may leave with honor," she said. Ethan began walking again. The alien girl suddenly stopped. "Wait," she said. She pulled something from around her neck, a small crystal charm, glowing softly. "I want you to have this," she said, "so you don't forget me." Ethan knelt and accepted it carefully. "I won't," he said. "I promise." She smiled. "You kept your promises before," she said. "I know you will again." Ethan stood and turned toward the open sky. His ship waited, small, plain, human. As he reached the ramp, the Queen spoke one last time. "Ethan Cole," she said. "Your name will be written in our records." Ethan paused. "Then write it with the others," he said. "Not above them." The Queen nodded. The ramp closed. The ship lifted gently, engines quiet but steady. It rose past the palace towers, past the watching crowds, past the orbiting fleets. No weapons locked on. No fear followed. Only respect. The alien girl watched until the ship became a star among stars. "He'll come back," she said. The Queen stood beside her. "Yes," she replied. "Humans always do." Far away, Ethan's ship moved through open space. He looked at the crystal charm in his hand. Then at the stars ahead, the galaxy was vast, dangerous, unfair, but it remembered now, and that mattered. The narrator's voice settled into calm certainty. Humanity does not rule the stars. Humanity reminds them what honor looks like. The ship jumped to light speed, and across the galaxy, in halls of power and quiet homes alike, one truth settled deep. When the universe turned away, humans stayed, and that is the name the stars will remember.